There's a theme in my videos, some of them anyway. When I'm not talking about some deep esoteric bullshit, I'm talking about what we do in life, career-minded kinds of stuff. And if you followed my blog that I kept about a year ago, you'll know that I'm critical of the careerism mentality that is taught in schools today. I find it unfortunate that people would think that life has to be all about being a wage slave, a glorified servant, and work for some master that has enough money to pay their bills, and give them enough money to then retire. And you can retire at 65, and then you can enjoy your life after then. And do what you want to do. I'm not saying that you can't have some fun in between, but retirement is, in many people's minds, thought of as the golden years, the time that you can finally do what you've wanted to do all your life. The problem with that, though, is I don't know if I'm going to live that long. And even if I do, I don't know how long I would live after that. And how unfortunate is it that we feel like we have to go to the mine and chisel rock until a certain time, and then we can retire. It came clear to me the other day that all the people that I wish to emulate are people who probably would never retire at 65. They would have no desire to. And indeed, any one of them who are over 65 are still in the business that they're in. People like Steve Jobs and George Lucas, and the founder of Cirque du Soleil, Guy, what's his name? I forget. And then the gentleman who started Patagonia. All these impressive lives. I bet not one of them would be concerned about retirement. Retirement for those kinds of people, it would seem, would be a medical necessity. You just can't function anymore, so you can't work. So you go into retirement. You stop working. And you need money, and those people, anyway, would have a residual income from their businesses that they could support themselves while they're old and feeble and gray. But none of them have the mentality that so many of us have, that we have to have a career to pay bills, to then climb a ladder. These people don't climb ladders. Their life is not set out in a hierarchy of, look, you get the entry-level job, and then you get the better job, and then you have the, maybe you're doing shift work for a while, and then you have the salary job, or a 9-to-5 hourly, and then the salary, and then your salary with benefits, and then salary, benefits, and a pension plan, and then now your salary, benefits, pension plan management position, and then, I don't know. Then you can just twiddle your thumbs in your office all day. I don't know how it works. But that seems to be the popular approach. The people I always wanted to emulate would seem to approach life not in that system of a ladder where it's accented with specific accomplishments, but rather they see life, it seems to me, as just a set of obstacles to overcome, to get some ultimate goal that perhaps is not clearly defined. In the short run, they might have specific goals, but in the end, it's just the pursuit of passion, which doesn't really have, a career title or a position title, or a salary amount, but it's just an ingrained, pulsing, driving force that propels them in a direction that might not be completely clear to them at any given time. They just know that they have to follow it, or they would be miserable if they don't follow it. Recently, I've fallen into anxiety and a bit of depression. I went to a clinic because I was having chest pains and shortness of breath. They gave me some blood work and an EKG, and they put me on Zoloft. I took the prescription. I never went to the pharmacy, though. I thought it was ridiculous that it was somehow okay that I had to be on an antidepressant, an SSRI, to survive in my job. For those of you who have followed my videos for a long time, you know that about a year ago I was issuing a video very similar to this one. I was going to go out and do something crazy. I was thinking about Manhattan, thinking about Bellingham. I was thinking about San Francisco. Those were the big three. And I decided to do none of those. I decided to come to Casper, Wyoming, enroll in a paralegal program, and now I work for attorneys. Woo. I did it because it was I think it was a result of social conditioning. I don't blame it on my father or mother or grandfather. My grandfather was an attorney. I don't blame it on any of them. I blame it on the sense that to have a good life, to live right, the art of living, is best achieved with either being a lawyer or a doctor. That kind of mentality. And today I kind of refused that. And really it was yesterday. I came to the conclusion that I refused that. And I walked into work today knowing that I was done. Completely. With the job, with school, and I had some other priority in mind. And I was sitting at my favorite sub shop in town at lunch today, just by myself, thinking about what I'm about to embark on, and realized that it's almost like I just retired. And it just so happens that what I'm now going to do in my retirement will pay the bills, hopefully. And if it doesn't, I'll have a standard of living with less bills. I don't want to compare myself to people like Steve Jobs and George Lucas, and Patagonia guy and whoever else. But I do think there is one similarity between us, and that is that I have an urgency, a sense of urgency to commit myself towards a matter of the heart, whether that means romance or a job, my profession. And that sense of urgency is all pervasive. I mean, call my parents, talk to my dad, my mom. They know I will call home on a fairly frequent basis, really frustrated about life and my situation. And I don't really have a plan, and I don't really have a name for my frustration. I'm just frustrated. And 2 days ago, Sunday, I was talking with my dad, and he finally said something to me that I really needed to hear. And it was what I just told you. It's that, I was lamenting. I said, Dad, all these people I want to emulate, they were on their way at the age of 25. I'm not. I've I'm at my quarter life, probably. And they were well underway with what they wanted to do. And my father, who has heard this speech probably a million times from me, finally said what I think I needed to hear. And I didn't know I needed to hear it until he said it. He said, no, John, you might not have started, but the similarity is that you're crazy. He didn't say that. He said, you have an urgency to do something that you're passionate about. My view of life is, I think, different than a lot of people. I see it as it's a crapshoot, no matter how you look at it. And so why not spend it the way, in pursuit of something that you really think is good work? It's the Steve Jobs quote. I don't know if you're like me, you after he died, you went on YouTube and checked out every Steve Jobs video on YouTube and was left with a sense of solemn inspiration, really, at the end of it. So YouTube has been used by people in the past to beg for money. I don't want your money. I've never asked for money. It was only recently that I started to monetize a few videos with advertisements, and I'll never see any money from that because apparently you have to make so much money before they give you any. So never mind that. I'm asking, however, I'm not e-begging for money. I'm e-begging for connections and possibly a couch. My goal is to be the managing director of my own theatrical company, my own performing arts company, make it more loose. I was looking at the requirements of the job, being a managing director, and I realized that, my God, through my haphazard attempt to create some kind of career for myself, I hit all the big ones. I've worked for accountants, and I've done balance sheets and pricing studies and, depreciations and credit card balancing, that kind of thing. And now with my job that I have today, I work with attorneys. I know how to write contracts. I know how to read legalese. I know, I know about liability insurance. And I have a bachelor's degree in business psychology, which is all about hiring, firing, employee motivation, advertising. And while in my bachelor's program, I started a nonprofit organization. I filed with the IRS, and we filed for a a 501c3. I think it's 501. Yeah, 501c3. It's a nonprofit. And then now I just bought a book on how to write grants, because I don't know how to do that. I don't think it's beyond me. And then how to fill out a 1023 form so you can apply for tax exempt status. The idea is that I would start my own performing arts, my own nonprofit performing arts company, write grants, get it started on grants, and do what needs to be done to make that happen and make it profitable. It'd be a nonprofit, I'd still live off of it. And so what I'm e-begging for are connections for anyone that you might know. And if you don't like me, you can say, piss off, Jonathan, that's fine. But if you want to help, if anything in my story here inspires you, and you know of someone who is in an up-and-coming performance troupe who could use skills like mine, which I do think are oftentimes not present. You usually have the artistic head, someone who's very inspired by ideas, but then there's that management side of things that they don't know about contracts, or they write a contract and they don't have all the elements. They don't have offer, acceptance, consideration, and all the other things that you need. They might have a corporate counsel, but they don't know how to talk to the corporate counsel intelligently. I could use that 1 hour billed out at $100 or $200 an hour very efficiently, because I could tell the attorney, look, I want to talk about this, not this or that or that. I know about all that. But anyway, if you know of anyone like that who could use my skills, who are looking for someone like that, I hope you get in contact with me. The other thing, if you don't have any contacts like that, but you have a couch, and you'd be willing to put me up, I am in the process now of getting out of my lease, couch surfing with a friend for 2 months, possibly another friend for another 2 months if necessary, and then I'm going to move out of Wyoming. And I'm going to either move to California, probably San Francisco if it's there. Denver is a possibility. Salt Lake is a possibility. Bellingham is also a possibility. Really anywhere that I know someone or know someone who knows someone. Because that's how the world turns. It doesn't matter what you know. If anything I've learned in my short time on this planet is that it doesn't matter what degree you have. If you really want something, it's just who you know. And if you can help me out, that's really cool. What can I say? So yes, I am retired at 25, and from here on out, what I do in retirement will pay the bills. And that's my outlook. It's scary, it's risky, I recognize that. But if I end up in the gutter because this all goes to hell, I can't possibly be as miserable as I am now with the current situation that I'm in. It just won't happen. I won't ever feel like I'm in the gutter. I'll always feel like I'm in pursuit of something, and that makes me happy. So if anything I've said has resonated with you and you think you could help me out, I don't want your money. But in the terms that I've talked about, I hope to hear from you. Peace.